Hey everybody, and welcome to the very first episode of the F1 sector with me, Jack, where we're going to be taking a look at some of my F1 2021 predictions. I'm going to be posting regular videos and content, so make sure to hit like and subscribe to keep up to date. Okay, so let's get into my first F1 2021 prediction, which is Rookie of the Year. So we've got three new young drivers joining the grid this year. We've got Mick Schumacher, Nikita Mazepin and Yuki Tsunoda. And whilst I think Mick Schumacher is going to have a solid first season, the driver that I'm most excited for is Yuki Tsunoda. So the latest Red Bull graduate had an incredible F2 debut season last year. This year, of course, he's going to have a race-winning teammate in Pierre Gasly, but I'm really excited to see how he matches up against him. I think he's going to have a great first season. Next up, we have 2021 Flop of the Year. Now, there are some strong contenders for this category. The driver that I'm perhaps unfairly choosing is Valtteri Bottas. Now, I can already hear you saying, but Valtteri is a number 2 driver. What does it matter if he underperforms this year? However, can't take away from Valtteri that he's done an incredibly solid job up until this point, helping Mercedes finish first in the Constructors and usually giving Hamilton a good run for his money in qualifying. Unfortunately, I just don't think Valtteri has got it in him to be number 2 for another year and put in the same sort of performances. And the reason I say this is there were a few moments last year which I think must have been a real kick in the teeth for Valtteri. I'm thinking about George Russell flying around the outside of him at Sakir, also being lapped by Hamilton in Turkey, finishing I think 14th that race. And so whilst I hope I am wrong, I really do think Valtteri's going to struggle this coming season. Next up is unexpected winner in 2021. And perhaps not totally unexpected, but given this team haven't won in 8 years now, I think it definitely qualifies. So it's Daniel Ricciardo. McLaren managed 2 podiums last season, finished 3rd in the Constructors, and definitely look like a team that are on the way up. This year they're going to be running Mercedes engines, and when you throw into the mix super fast Danny Rick, proven race winner, I think it makes for something really exciting. I think if the opportunity presents itself, Danny Rick is definitely going to be there to make the most of it. Let's now do a quick run through of my predictions for the 2021 Constructors Championship. In 10th place, I'm saying Williams. In all honesty, I think this year will be a case of just making improvements to last year's car, and they'll already be looking ahead to 2022 when the new regs come in. There's just no way that they're going to be pumping in their limited resources and money into developing such a flawed concept and design of a car. So yeah, 10th place for Williams. In 9th place, my prediction is Haas, similar to Williams, with a much smaller budget than some of the other teams in the paddock. Their focus will surely be on making the best of what they've got and make sure they hit the ground running for next season. Also, with 2 rookies joining the team, predicting quite a tough season for Haas in 2021. No changes for this next team in terms of driver lineup, and perhaps that consistency will pay off in 2021. So in 8th place, I'm saying Alfa Romeo. Okay, so now this is where I think it's going to get really interesting, and we're going to see the tightest midfield battle that we've seen in a number of years. In 7th, I'm saying AlphaTauri. I'm saying 7th based more on their previous season's form. However, with 2 young drivers who will both be pushing for that Red Bull seat next year, I think they could definitely finish higher up and could definitely have a strong season. In 6th place, we have the rebranded Alpine F1 team. With the addition of a 2-time world champion in Fernando Alonso, you're perhaps wondering why I'm putting them in just 6th place. However, this is more down to the competitiveness of the rest of the grid. Again, the newly rebranded Racing Point team, now Aston Martin of course, are 5th in my prediction. In Lawrence Stroll, they're going to have some very deep pockets and funding. When you combine that with Sebastian Vettel coming in, of course 4-time world champion, I think they're going to have a really solid season. I can see them picking up regular podiums and could potentially finish higher up than 5th. I think if they manage to get the car set up how Vettel likes it, it could be really exciting. For the 2020 season, Ferrari had not finished lower than 4th in the Constructors since 1981. That's 30 years of consistently being in the top 4. And whilst I agree that last year's car was absolutely awful and they've got massive improvements to make, and they're also against the tightest midfield we've seen in a generation, they are just not going to finish lower than 4th. There's no way. Third, I'm going to say McLaren. There's no denying McLaren have had a really tough time of it during the turbo hybrid era, with more engine suppliers than race wins during this period. However, it is really clear to see their progression over the past 3 years, with them moving up the grid. And I think with the Mercedes engine in 2021, we can expect good things from them. Second, I'm predicting Red Bull, but a very close second, if that counts. I've got two great drivers now who I can certainly see pushing Mercedes for those podium positions. So fingers crossed we can see a sustained title challenge this year from maybe Max, but potentially Perez. In first place we have Mercedes. No surprises here, but I think this year we're not going to see the same dominance that we've seen in previous years. Red Bull are getting closer. The whole pack is now bunching up towards them. Mercedes will win it, but it won't be easy. Okay, finally, let's take a look at my Drivers' Championship predictions for 2021. 20th is Nicholas Latifi. He finished last season, out-qualified at every event, only finished ahead of his teammate twice. Unfortunately, I don't think he's done enough to suggest that anything's going to be different for the 2021 season. 19th, it's Nikita Mazepin. Finished 5th in F2 last season and is going to have an uphill battle this year to try and win over some fans. Predicting a tough first season for Nikita Mazepin this year. 18th, we've got George Russell. Clearly, he's shown what he can do when he's given the right machinery. Unfortunately, I just don't see Williams giving him the car that he needs to demonstrate what he's capable of. Fingers crossed he can rectify a few small mistakes that he made last season and perhaps steal a points finish. 17th, I'm saying Mick Schumacher. Now, is there more pressure than coming into F1 as a 21-year-old with that surname? Mick had a great F2 season last year, obviously winning the World Championship. However, if you look back through his career, it's clear to see that it usually takes a season for Mick to sort of get his confidence, get up and running. Last season, Mick had some great drives coming through the field, so I think it could definitely be there or thereabouts when they're handing out the points. In 16th, I'm saying Kimi Räikkönen. The Iceman will turn 42 this year, however is still going strong. I can see him picking up the odd point scoring position this year, but I can actually see his teammate outscoring him this year as well. So in 15th is Antonio Giovinazzi. In some ways, Antonio is going to have quite a lot to prove this year in what will be his 5th year in Formula One. There is tons of young talent in the Ferrari Junior program. Callum Eilert, Robert Schwartzman spring to mind, which will surely be names being considered for 2022. 14th is Pierre Gasly. Pierre had a great season last year, picking up his first win and could arguably be driving for Red Bull this year. I'm predicting regular points finishes and perhaps another podium in 2021. I'm placing Yuki ahead of Pierre as I'm predicting a really strong debut season for Yuki. Points, great overtakes and potentially an unlikely podium. Esteban seemed to struggle last season with Danny Rick as his teammate, and I just can't see things getting any easier for him with Fernando coming in. I'm saying 12th, however, if Esteban can find some of the form that we've seen from him previously, I think a top 10 finish is definitely possible. 11th, Lance Stroll. Lance actually had a really strong season last year. However, when you look back through some of his results, there was an element of fortunate timing involved with a couple of them. Not to take anything away from him though, Lance had some really great drives, made some fantastic overtakes, and again could be pushing for a top 10 finish. 10th is Fernando Alonso. He's back for a third stint at Renault, now Alpine, and well, I'm just not that excited. Don't get me wrong, Fernando will be a great addition to the team. He'll push them forwards and he will without doubt extract everything he can from that car. I just can't see the glory days of Fernando and Renault returning. 9th is Sebastian Vettel. I'm predicting an invigorated Sebastian Vettel this season. He's got a Mercedes engine underneath him, a team committed to building around him. It has the makings of something really exciting. 8th, Carlos Sainz. Ferrari can make the steps forward that I'm predicting, then 8th for Carlos feels fair for his first season in red. 7th is Lando Norris, the ever-improving Twitch streamer and also Formula One driver. Lando appears to be becoming one of the hottest prospects on the grid at the moment. If McLaren are going to improve on their third in the Constructors, then they're going to be expecting more from Lando, more podiums, and I think it's certainly something he's capable of. 6th is Charles Leclerc. In my opinion, Charles was driver of the year last year, and I'm expecting more of the same from him this year. multiple podiums and perhaps a race win if the opportunity presents itself. 5th, Daniel Ricciardo, best of the rest. Perhaps not the title he wants, but I'm predicting a really strong season for Danny Rick in his first year at McLaren. There's a real feel-good factor at McLaren at the moment, and I can definitely see Daniel thriving there in that environment. And 4th, I'm saying Valtteri Bottas. In my opinion, Valtteri just looks like a man who knows this is perhaps his last shot at winning the World Championship. Maybe it will motivate him, or as I'm predicting, it will be an unceremonious exit for the Finn. 3rd, Sergio Perez. Give Sergio a top car and expect to see top results. I can't wait to see what he'll do in that car this season. I'm predicting wins, regular podiums, and can see him being Max's toughest teammate to date. 2nd, we've got Max Verstappen. I think this will be Max's strongest season in F1 so far, which bodes really well for us as fans. In fact, I can actually see him leading the championship at some point, perhaps even up until the summer break. Whilst I don't think he'll win it, I can see Max ruffling a few feathers at the Mercedes garage. In 1st is Lewis Hamilton. 8 world titles to break Schumacher's record. I see no reason why the winning combination of Lewis in Mercedes won't continue for another year and the final year under these regulations. So that's it. That's my predictions for 2021. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below and be sure to like and subscribe. See you next time.